Alright guys, here's the instruction page for what we're about to do. We're going to join these two halves together. We're going to put the upper deck on. Then we're going to get our fuselage part that we worked on earlier, and we're going to mount it to it. And then at that point we'll work on the nose a little bit. We're coming up to the part now we're going to actually be putting the back on together. You know, the back on to the front. And then you know, this thing's gonna start looking like a Manta. All right, guys, here we go. This is the first construction of the major parts of the body. These are two huge, biggest pieces of resin we've seen so far. I've just got finished washing them. Now I'm drying up the extra water, which is not really important to our next step because all of the business is gonna take place right here. These parts have to go together. Glue here, and glue here. And this is the first place where we're going to see where I actually took time to go ahead and pin the models. So this is a piece of brass wire, and I've drilled holes in this side and this side. And what I'm going to do is I will use that gap brass wire as kind of an anchor to hold these two parts together. And they will slide together. And then it'll all come together just like that. And you can see the problem that I have with this is like it has to go together exactly like this or it's going to be a problem. You know, the body's going to be warped or whatever. But these three seams have to be strong enough to hold all of this weight until we get to a little bit further in the step and we add this little doohickey right here. Or it goes like this. No, it goes like I had it. It goes like that. And in that case, we can actually put some more pins on the bottom, which will help hold that seam. So this is also the first place in which we're going to pull out our JB weld. This stuff is quick setting epoxy. You mix it in 2 parts. And then what happens is once you mix it, it'll set up pretty quick. And then in about 6 hours, it'll be fully cured. And then once it's cured, you can sand it and all this stuff. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to mix the stuff. This is plastic cup. Probably not the best thing, but it's the only thing I got right now. We're going to mix a small amount in there. We're going to keep these parts like this. We'll pour some of it in there. We'll put some in there, put some in there, push them together. And then we'll wipe off the excess and then we'll hit it with a little super glue to kind of give it a tack so that it'll hold while we're doing that. But now if you've never seen this stuff work before, I used it on my Thunderhawk to good effect, holding up the parts that we're going to be holding up the flight stand. And that worked out pretty well. I must say, pretty well indeed. So what I want to do before we get to this, I want to go in here and score these parts. Just like we did before. Oh, back you up a little bit. We're going to score these parts so that the JB weld has something to hook onto. All I'm doing is running the knife over it, just like this, watch. Just making some scratch marks. Hopefully not slicing off my finger. Alright, then we're gonna go here. And over here. Like I said, that part, it's not rocket science. It's just how you have to do it. All right. Let's get this thing kind of set up. For the first shot. Well, we got one shot at this, guys. We're gonna do this in one whole take. All right, here we go, guys. A little bit more, I think. All right, what you do is you take half of this nasty looking black stuff, and you take half of this white stuff, and you mix them together in equal portions. All right, it's actually gray. A little air bubble there. All right, that's about equal. Ooh, you can smell it. You're starting to do their chemical thing. Take our little wood dowel and mix them together. Yep. Mixing up pretty good. Alright. That's pretty well mixed up. Let's take out our little piece of dowel rod here. Get it good and gummied up. And put him in there. Like that. Take this. And they're going to apply it evenly across here. Whatever extra squirts out, we'll have time before it cures to wipe it off. But be advised that if you have some that's someplace you don't want it, and you don't get it before it cures, that's where it is. All right. So, let's get this off the table. Alright, make sure I got none of my fingers. Here we go. Bring it a little bit closer. Alrighty. Make sure I get the hole. Right, there it goes in the hole. 1, 2, 3 connections. Bam. Alright, all 3 are in. See, we got a little bit squeezed out. That's okay. I'm just going to hold it here a minute. So we're going to hold it until it sets up. See if I can reach over here and turn my podcast back on. So good to go. We're going to let this stuff set up. This is the JB weld here. And we're going to let this stuff set, and then we'll get on with it. Alright guys, here we go. Our pieces together. I've already done some sanding. I tapped some holes right here. On this piece, which goes right here, I put some pegs. We're going to score the bottom. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put scores here. And then we're going to inset this there. And then with these pins being over each side of this joint, it'll add support to the joint. So this thing, I'm not sure how the weight distribution is going to be, but this could be a weak spot. Now keep in mind this is JB Weld, so it's not going to break like super glue. But we're going to go ahead and glue this in here like that. I built a little wiggle room in so that we could center it up. And then once we get that done, then we're going to have to figure out how to put the other part, the crew compartment up on this. So that's what we're going to do now. Alright guys, check it out. I got the top on here. What I discovered is that I'm having some fit issues. And the fit issues come in right here where this wing is kind of canted like that. So this over here worked out where it was pretty flat. However, this is going to cause issues when I go to put the other wing on. It'll be significantly raised. Now you can tell right here, I'm already going to have some fit issues. This is going to require some putty and some significant sanding to get this pretty much evened out. So I'm going to have to take some off of here, add some to the other one, and then fill this gap. Because everything from here around the corner is going to show. So what the plan is is we're going to take our Pro heater and we're going to heat up basically this. Now I had to go over on the other side of the room, shut the fan off so I can get this to heat, and then I'm just going to apply pressure on it, and what I'm trying to do is get that to cant regular. Now, I have to caution you, you know, this thing gets hot, and it will heat up your resin, and then if you heat it too much, you're going to end up with a blob of stuff. But if you nurse it, you know, you take your time, warm it up, come on the backside, warm it up, push it down, apply a little tension, it'll start to bend long before it becomes a problem. Or the only problem is you don't really know how long it's going to take. Might take a minute, might take a half hour, you don't know. But I don't think with a piece of resin this big that you'll ever be able to put it in the bathtub or anything and get it warmed up and mold it into shape. The goal is to close down some of this gap and to even this out a little bit. So that's what the plan is. Let's see if we can get it to work. Alright, so I've been working on trying to get the wing leveled out. And I can tell you right now that that did not work for poop. So these pieces of resin are too big to heat. So we're just going to have to deal with it when we get into the build. Alright, so if you can see the difference here, this side has got a little gap, and this side does not have such a big gap. And I don't really think that the gap is a problem, because it appears in my dry fitting of the wing that the wing is going to fit on there just fine. Now, one of the things that happened when we put this seam together, I put a lot of emphasis on making sure these seams matched up and that they were aligned. Well, the way that the wings are built, when things are properly aligned here, they're a little bit further than they should be apart at the other end. And so what is a small misalignment here turns out to be a huge misalignment down here. And these, let me see if I can get a better shot of this. Alrighty. Zoom in a little bit. Right there. And so this part, if you can see the little gaps under the piece, they're supposed to slide down these little plastic inserts that helps keep the back end together. However, they're just outside of being in the right position. And that is important because this has to fit in there well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up cutting on both of these. First of all, I'm going to cut on these to open this up a little bit. And I'm also going to cut on these right here to allow all this to line up and center this piece. It is more important that this piece be centered on there than riding on those rails. And I think it's about 1/8 of an inch. And that's probably about right. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up centering this up, and then that way when we put in our piece here, let's back you up. When we put in this piece here, this piece will be centered because this is an important part. Now, there's a lot of filling that we're going to have to do on this. And not traditional filling by any stretch. What we're going to do is we're going to use our plasticard, if you've seen my previous videos, and we're going to come in and we're going to glue plasticard to the edges of those and then sand them so this thing is going to fit flush without gaps or problems. And that'll be okay. We'll be able to do that really well. Some parts of this don't fit as well as others, but hey, you know what? It's a Manta, and we knew we were going to have fit problems as we went along. So I'm okay with that. I don't know what I'm going to do about that big divot right there. That's probably going to be some green stuff. I'm going to have to green stuff it and sand it across. But, I mean, hell yeah, it's kind of starting to look like a Manta.